I spend over $500,000 every single month on Google Ads lead generation for real estate agents. You're gonna wanna pay attention to this video because I'm gonna go through the exact account structure that you're going to want to set up if you want to optimize for lead cost and lead quality in this video. So pay attention. If you don't know me, my name is Eric B. Preston. I'm the founder and CEO of Agent Launch. We help real estate agents build scalable client acquisition systems that they actually own. If you guys do want to work with Agent Launch at any point in this video, you can go to agentlaunch.com/apply, apply to work with us. You can book a 10-minute intro call, see if there's a good fit. There's also a link in the description for that. But anyways, our company, as I mentioned, spends over $500K every single month specifically for this reason. So I'm going to caution you on something. Do not listen to other creators on YouTube about this subject. They do not actually do this for a living. This is not what their business does. I've watched a few of different other creators' videos on this subject and they don't know what they're doing and they're going to mislead you. So we've been refining our process for years and I'm going to share some secrets today about how to actually set up your account properly from the beginning and give you a bit of a framework to go into Google PPC with. Now, there's a few things I want to cover right away, so let's go through those. Number one, Google is going to reach out to you and suggest that they should help you to actually improve your campaigns, and they're going to give you some time for free. Now, this is going to sound like a really good option to you, but great, a Google rep, an expert's going to actually spend time with me and optimize my campaigns for free. Don't do it. Do not do it. Hard stop. No, never, ever, ever listen to these Google reps. I have a big team of media buyers. We've all had the same experience. They do not know what they're doing. Not at all. Don't listen to them. Shut it down. Never, ever listen to them, okay? We've tried this several times. Even one time I bit and I said, you know, this guy seems to have a pretty interesting little strategy here. I'm gonna test it out. Ruin the campaigns. Never listen to them. This is what we do. This is what we do for real estate. Please, please, please just listen to the advice I'm gonna give you because we do this all the time. We spend so much money and we've refined this process. The Google reps are generalists. They're not specialists. They don't specialize in one niche. It's important to get someone's help who specializes in one niche. But anyways, number one is don't listen to the Google reps, please. So that's the big thing right away. Number two is make sure you have the right website. A lot of people are going to run this traffic to a website that's not going to convert it. There's a very short list. I have links for all of these in the description of websites we recommend. We will not even work with other websites at this point, and it's always a thing I have to talk to my clients about because if you don't have Real Geeks or Chime or Sierra Interactive, KV Core in some markets works, this traffic is just not going to convert effectively. I will literally run the same traffic to one random website and to a Real Geek site, and I'll get like, you know, $6, $7, $8, $9 leads on the Real Geek site, and I'll get like $30, $40, $50 leads on this other site because most website providers are not optimized for Google PPC traffic. So it's really important that if you do this, you start with getting the right website. So that's the second thing I will caution you on. And as I mentioned already, the third thing I'd caution you on is be careful of who you listen to because you will get led astray by Google, by other creators who do not actually do Google PPC for a living. This is literally our bread and butter and what we do. So let's get into this account structure, okay? This is not a tutorial on how to set up a Google ad. I'm gonna actually link to that here if you wanna check that out. And then I'm gonna be updating that video soon with a fresh one for 2022. So pay attention or stay tuned for that. But anyways, let's get into account structure. Now, one thing that's important to understand with Google PPC is that when people search homes for sale in your market or a specific type of home for sale in your market, like condos or land or acreages or whatever, we want your ad to pop up with the correct information, right? So if someone searches acreages or land, we want your ad to read land. We want your landing page to read land. So it's really important when you're setting this up, and I'll get to this more in the tutorial, that whatever your keywords you're targeting and the ad reads and the landing page says all really line up. That's what I call continuity. That's really, really, really important. So you got to keep things tight, and I'm going to show you how to do that in this tutorial very clearly. Now, as far as account structure, there's basically there's kind of three campaigns you want to set up and maybe four. And you can actually kind of see them on the left side here. So if you look at the left, you can see the retargeting search long tail, and search seller, okay? So those are kind of the four campaigns we set up for, let's say, our high-level clients. And this is kind of the structure I want to advise that you consider. And this is even more advanced than you might be thinking about this already. And this is not something I would say someone without a bit of Google Ads experience can execute at a high level. But if you are doing Google Ads, I want to show this to you because this account structure is what's getting us the best results. First things first, your number one campaign is always going to be your buyer search campaign. Now, I don't like calling it a buyer campaign. I like calling it a search campaign because people looking for homes are not always just buyers. 25 to 50% of them in most markets have something to sell, okay? Now, the best way to generate sellers today is to generate a volume of buyer leads and send targeted content to them that speaks to sellers. Now, the reason this is working so well is because in the last couple of years, seller keywords have gotten really expensive. I'm talking really expensive. Like, you're gonna be paying $25 to $50 a lead, right? Now, if we can get, $6, $7, $8, $9 leads on the buyer side, we're gonna get, 4 or 5 leads on that side for every one seller lead we generate on the other side. And a lot of times your seller leads are going to be like home valuation leads. They're going to be basically like people just kind of searching for the value of their home and they're not actually ready to sell. Where people looking for homes are generally a little bit more serious, and we just have to focus on finding the 1 or 2 sellers in those 5 leads, because that's where the real gold is. And how you do this is by sending them targeted specific seller content. So let me give you an example. One of our high ticket clients basically is doing exactly this. And what they did is they took a $1.8 million listing that expired because it was a pretty rundown place. They put $125K into it and they staged it through their staging company really well. They sold it for $2.3 million, right? So there's a $375,000 spread that they created for that seller. So what we're doing with them is we've created a nice video on exactly what they did through that process and really outlined A to Z of what they went through. And now they're sending that out to all their leads. Now that's really building rapport and trust with sellers, and they're biting and they're asking questions and they're getting appointments out of it. So that's just kind of some context around how this is really working at a high level. Also note that like when you appease to sellers like that, you're also gonna appease to buyers at the same time. Like they're just gonna trust you because you seem like you obviously know what you're doing. When you're setting up a buyer campaign, what you wanna do is you wanna use a one campaign, multiple ad group structure, okay? Now the reason is quite simple. So if I go into this campaign, you'll see that we have 3 different ad groups in here. Why you wanna do this is because Google will spend the budget throughout those ad groups based on the demand for the search terms that you're bidding on. Essentially, if you're targeting 3 different areas here and one of them has much higher search volume than the others, then that's okay because Google's algorithm's already gonna spread your budget evenly through those based on the search volume. And it'll also optimize throughout those ad groups based on where you're getting the most optimal lead cost. So if you actually look at these, let's just see if I go to ad groups, what you'll notice is this will happen a lot of the time. Like we're getting 858 here leads, we're getting 1278 here, and we're getting 715 here. So in some cases, after a short while, we may end up pausing this one ad group named Shelby. And by the way, just so you know, we do this for some people where we have like 10 to 15 different areas. It just depends on your market, how many areas there are and how many areas you actually want to focus on. Having more areas is not necessarily better. It's just going to spread your budget out throughout those areas. So if you really want to focus on 3 areas or 2 areas, it's better to just keep your budget within those 2 areas. But I'd recommend doing at least 3. 3 is usually a good number. Anything more than that can be really good as well. But part of the optimization process is figuring out, which ad groups or areas. When I say campaign ad group ad, that's kind of the structure of Google Ads, campaign ad group ad. The campaign's where the budget and the optimization is held. The ad group is where like the keywords and the targeting the areas are held. So basically your ad group is going to be like your niches or your areas, right? So in this case, you'll see that this one ad group is quite significantly higher in lead costs, but that doesn't mean we should pause that right away. Generally what we want to do is speak to our clients, right? Because Shelby might be it might be a very high priced area with multi-million-dollar listings, and the actual commission value of a lead there is a lot higher. The reason it could be more expensive is because there's more competition in that area because it's a luxury area. So it really just depends. You don't want to just focus on the lead cost. You have to focus on the quality of leads you're getting in any given area in order to determine if you should pause that campaign and focus on others. So that's just an important point I want to make. But in terms of ad structure, this is going to be your bread and butter. This is going to be your main campaign, okay? So generally what we do is we turn this on first and we get some traction, we get some action through the campaign, start generating some search volume and whatnot. And then there's 2 other campaigns that we want to focus on, and one is retargeting and one is long tail. So long tail will be campaigns that are focused on something very specific. If you haven't heard the words short tail or long tail before, short tail is like homes for sale, and long tail would be something like luxury homes for sale in Kitsilano, British Columbia. So long tail is just something longer and more specific that you want to focus on. Now, we always talk to our clients about which long tail campaigns they want to do, and we always have recommendations. So some examples are luxury, land, acreages, waterfront, things like that. You could even do like luxury condos could be one as well. It just depends on your market and what you want to focus on. But generally we fire this up and we start getting a really good lead cost with the general campaign, because Google will benchmark your actual cost per click and lead cost based on that one campaign. And that's the campaign where generally we'll see the best lead cost. So we want to start with that. Next thing, what we want to do is set up long tail, and we set this all up at the beginning, but it's just a matter of when to turn them on. So in this case, we're doing luxury and land. These are campaigns you can often get really good results on. Luxury will be a little bit more expensive typically, but things like land, acreages, and waterfront, most people are not doing. So you can generally get not only a good lead cost, but the thing about long tail is you get people who are lower in the funnel. Like if you think about it, if someone's searching for homes for sale in San Francisco, a bad idea because I don't know the neighborhoods there, but if someone's searching for homes for sale in Miami, they don't necessarily know where they want to live in Miami yet. Whereas if someone's searching for homes for sale in Key Biscayne, then they probably are a bit lower in the funnel because they know they want to be in Key Biscayne and they know that area. Same goes for long tail. If someone's searching for like land for sale in X area, then they know they're looking for land. They're a little more lower in the funnel. They're a little more specific and serious. So these long tail campaigns are often where you get some better quality leads. And again, waterfront's a good one, things of that nature. And it's really important that you set up your keywords and stuff. And I'm not going to get into that in this video as far as the actual tutorial on setting this up in full. Again, I'm going to be creating a really good, well thought out long video for that in the very near future. And then the next campaign is retargeting. Okay, so this is something you want to set up. What this is going to do is this is going to be like it's called a display campaign. And so what a display campaign is basically it's going to show all over the internet. And you've seen these Google ads in between blogs on the right side of your screen and different websites. It's going to basically, these are the type of ads that follow people around the internet. Now, there's something you have to set up for this to work, which is called Google's tracking code. So you have to set up a piece of code in this ad account that you install on your website, and it connects your website to your ad account. So when someone clicks on your ad, goes to your website, the ad account can actually track that, okay? Now, the reason retargeting is important is because when you're looking at conversion rates, right? When you're looking at like an actual conversion rate, I gotta add this to the column here, give me a second. Oh, there it is. It was just to the right. So if you look at a conversion rate, like look at this. It's 7.88%, 4.2%, 5.26% for a total of 6% conversion. So what that means is that's 6 out of every 100 people that click on your ad are converting into a lead. So that means for every 100 people that click on your ad, there is 94 people who didn't become a lead. So the reason retargeting is important is because that retargeting is going to follow those people around the internet and bring them back to your website to get another opportunity to convert them. This is really, really, really important that you set this up properly, and most people will never talk about this. But the reason is not only just to follow people around the internet that didn't become a lead on your site, it's more important, and the main point I want to make is retargeting is actually going to follow the people that become a lead on your site around the internet and bring them back. So we know from experience that 50 to 75% of the leads that sign up on your website will often use the website once, leave, and then forget about it. So it's important that you have retargeting ads that's going to follow them around the internet as well, and then they will start coming back to the site and searching again because you're going to keep prompting them to come back and actually use the website. And it's amazing how much activity goes up on your website when you are actually retargeting people. Now, the reason we don't have this on right now is because this campaign is actually quite new. So we haven't actually filled up the retargeting audience enough to actually start retargeting. So let's go to an example where we're actually doing retargeting. So one thing I want to note with retargeting ads is this is not about lead cost. This is about bringing leads back to your website that have already signed up, okay? So oftentimes with retargeting, you will actually get a pretty high cost per lead, usually like $20 to $30, but that's not the goal. The goal is to bring all your old leads back continuously to keep searching. That's the most valuable thing here. So in this case, it's $23 per lead. We also have a retargeting campaign here on the search side of things, which is actually $8.86 a lead. So on that side of our retargeting strategy, and we're doing a more advanced thing for this ad account, we're getting $8.86. So that's even low for this. Like normally I wouldn't target that as like the goal. But again, like retargeting is really, really, really important. And when you look at your long tail stuff, we're looking at $9.38, whereas our regular search for this campaign is more expensive. We're at $14.56 because we're in a very, very competitive market here. But the point I want to make is the long tail stuff is the thing that's going to get you the better quality leads, and actually oftentimes it's going to get you people a little lower in the funnel. So in regards to your ad account structure, basically this is how you want to set things up. You want to set up a search campaign, a retargeting campaign, retargeting those 3 areas, and you want to have that retargeting campaign turned on shortly after you turn your ads on, so it starts following people around the internet. And then you want to have a long tail campaign. There is options to do a seller campaign, but we're not big believers in just doing a straight home valuation seller campaign these days. It can work in some markets if you build a lot of process around it. This is an important point I want to make, because most people just do like a seller campaign and they're hoping to get seller leads ready to go. But the reality is most of these people are just looking for a quick home valuation to figure out what the value of their home is, and they're pretty high in the funnel. They're not going to convert for some time, and you just get some looky-loos a lot of the time. So the seller campaign in a traditional sense is not what's really working these days. We do set it up because in some markets you can get a low cost per click still, and it can be worth it, but it just depends on the market, because in most markets today, there was a big frenzy in the last year of everyone trying to get into the seller lead generation side of things, and it made it really expensive. So you can expect like $5 a click, $6 a click, and then your lead cost goes to like $50, and it's just not worth doing anymore, very simply. So the seller stuff is very saturated right now. It's very overdone. I think today you have to get a lot more creative with how you do this. And so yeah, I think that's pretty much what I wanted to show everyone. So I hope that was valuable to you. If you're looking to get something like this set up for yourself, as I mentioned, Agent Launch spends over $500K per month on Google Ads for realtors. We really do know what we're doing. We've never taken on a client where we weren't able to outperform their previous campaigns. So yeah, if you want to work with us, go to agentlaunch.com/apply. You can apply there. If you qualify, you can book a 10-minute intro call with us. That call is not a sales call. It's just kind of figure out if there might be a good fit to work together. We'll also give you some advice on this kind of stuff if you want it. And then if you do want to book a longer call, you can have a chat with me directly where we can talk about potentially getting into our ownership and leverage program, where we actually build all this stuff out for you and build a whole system, not just advertising. We have several moving parts to it. And with that program, our average client is on trend to earn about $187K in their first year. So this stuff works, but you have to set up the infrastructure around it for it to really work. It's not just lead generation. It's about proper nurture and video strategy, having a team to give you leverage, right? It's all about putting yourself in a position of leverage. So anyways, if you like this video, leave a comment below. Tell me what your questions are. I'm going to be on a mission for the next little while to make a lot of Google Ads and lead generation content. So if there's anything you want to see, leave it in the comments. Again, you can check out our website if you want to work with us, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. Ciao.